Story time. So this actually happened yesterday. So me and my mom and my dad all went tubing. And before we went on the tubes, we got some water and we got a bag to put our car keys and our phones in, but I left my phone in the car. And then we just picked out our tubes and waited for the bus to pick us up in line. And we were waiting in line for a really long time. And then we finally got on the bus and we had to sit down. We had to have a bunch of tubes. The bus was filled with tubes and we had to have them in between our legs. And then there was people had to hold the tubes up because they were falling on us. And we couldn't barely even see my dad because he was on the other side of me and my mom. And then when we finally got off the bus, we walked across this bridge to get to the Delaware River. And I was a little bit nervous, but we got on our tubes and we got in the water, and I almost flipped over, but I was okay. And here's where it gets crazy, so yeah. So we start going a little bit, and then there's this island, and we couldn't touch it, because we would get stuck there. So my dad is going crazy trying to pull us over, because me and my mom were going the wrong way. And then my dad's whole tube flipped over. And then we finally sat in our tubes, and we started going for a couple seconds, and then my mom said, "Where is the orange bag with our car keys and the phones?" And there's $50 in there. And my dad looks, and the orange bag unclipped from his tube when his tube flipped over, and the phones and the car keys were now in the river, and the bag probably opened up because my dad saw money floating away. And I just started freaking out. I was going crazy. So me and my mom went to the side, and we just had to literally just wait for my dad to come back because he went to go look for them, but we had to stay with our tubes. And my dad wasn't coming back, so I was crying, and then we just started walking to see where my dad was, and we couldn't find him. But then we finally saw him after 10 minutes coming back, and we just had to get on our tubes, and I was just crying because our car was locked, and without our car keys, we wouldn't be able to get in our car, and my phone was locked in the car, so we had nothing with us. And we were literally so thirsty because my mom lost her water bottle in the ocean when we were trying to find this orange bag. And there's so many people just trying to look in the water as they went to see if they could find it. And the orange bag could have opened up and all the stuff could have came out, so we don't know. But after a while of just floating down the river on our tubes, it was kind of fun, but we decided to come up with a plan. Since Valentina was way too young to go tubing, she had to stay with my grandma. So if the car was unlocked, then we could get my phone. But if the car wasn't unlocked, then maybe we could borrow someone's phone to call my grandma so she could pick us up. And then we can go back into the river where we started, where my dad fell, and see if we can find the bag. So then we just floated down the river for a really long time, and it was honestly really fun. And there was this part where it was going so fast, and it was the waves were it was going crazy. And then when we went in, and the waves just smacked us in the face, and I literally was tipped out of my tube. And then when we were getting close to the end, I see this $5 bill just floating in the water, but it was going so fast so I couldn't get it. But I feel it was definitely the money that we had in our bag. Then when we got to the end of the river, then we got off and we went to the car to see if it was unlocked, and of course it was locked. So then we borrowed someone's phone and we called my grandma to come pick us up, and my dad called one of his friends to tell him what happened. So then we were literally just walking on the sidewalk, and so my grandma could find us easier. And I was so bored, so I was playing with my sunglasses and the string that we connected our tubes with, and I just made a game with them. It was really weird. Then my grandma's car finally came, and we ran to her car, and we got in, and she drove us, and she followed the bus that we went on so we could go back to the river. And we parked somewhere near it so that my dad could just get out of the car and he could go in the river and see if he could find anything. And we used my grandma's phone to see if we could see where my mom or dad's phone is. See if we could see what part of the river it was in, but there was no internet there. And we were just waiting in the car, and my Valentina was with my grandma. So Valentina was like literally screaming off the top of her lungs and going crazy. And I was just like, and I was going crazy too because Valentina wouldn't stop screaming. And my dad was in the river looking for our car keys and my mom and dad's phones. And then this weird person told my grandma to move her car so him and his friend could park where she was parked. And he didn't own that parking spot, so my grandma said that she was going to move because he didn't own it. Then we got out of the car and moved away from him because Valentina wanted to go outside, and yeah. Then he went on the phone with someone, and he was saying, like, how we were being weird, which is very mean. And then my grandma, like, said, you don't own this spot. And he said, no, you're saying that. And it was just, like, I don't know what was going on because there was, like, so much going on. And this person, like, was calling us weird. It was just, like, cray-cray. Then his friend came, and my dad came back, and they said that they could help my dad find, like, the stuff. So my dad showed them where he fell, and then we just all got in the car and left them to see if they would find it, but yeah. Then we dropped my dad, like, off, like, on, like, the sidewalk, and he walked back to the car. And my grandma brought me, my mom, and Valentina back to her house so we could take a shower and then have dinner. Then my grandma dropped us off at our house, and we kind of just got ready for bed, and my dad didn't get home for like a really long time, and he was waiting with the car for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then his friend came and he helped him unlock the car, and then he got my phone out, and they towed the car all the way back to our house. And yeah, he couldn't find anything, but he got the car open, and then we just all went to bed. Hi, it's me from the next morning. So, yeah. So my dad is actually right now at the river still looking for our stuff, and he took my phone with him so he could see, like, and find the phones. So, like the video for good luck, so hopefully we can find our stuff. That's it. Bye!